Can we get a picture of you holding it, actually? I know.
Sure. As long as there's nothing I don't believe in here.
I mean, I don't think there's anything you would disagree with.
All right.
That's great. So the question I need to ask: where were you?
Are we on time here?
Yeah, we're all
I
right.
shouldn't stutter. All right.
You go ahead. I
I've
stutter
been
a
working
lot.
on my speech skills. I've been working on my interview skills.
So you're primed and ready
it's
for
a good
this?
time.
Good.
Well, I wasn't really anywhere, you know. After the Eyedea record came out, Max and I stopped playing music together for a little bit, stayed friends. He started really focusing on DJing. I started a couple different bands. Started kind of like a free jazz, freestyle, weirdo thing.
Wow.
Face Candy.
Face Candy?
Yep.
Cool.
And that, yeah, I was super happy with that. That wound up turning into this band that I have called Carbon Carousel. Kind of like distorted guitar, me talking about, you know, the same bullshit I always talk about. You know? It's like the same thing, but less words, you know. Really good musicians.
So like more
And
of
I'm lucky.
you're like a lead singer now? Is it more like a...
Yeah, well, I write most of the music on guitar. And then, you know, I go at it with a sketch and say, here's the song that I have, and we all sit down and kind of just like fumble our way through getting this idea across, you know. But it's pretty, you know, it's heavy, it's distorted, it's pissed off a little bit, you know. But
What was that like? I mean, because you had some notoriety in this scene, but then to like switch to like a scene like that, did you find that you're kind of a fish out of water?
not switching into the scene of actually being in that type of band, but as far as people who appreciate my music thus far, it was really hard for like hip hop kids just to say, hey, you know, like it's almost as blatant as like, why is there a guitar? You know, because we're not just like a band playing jams, playing Eyedea songs. So the new music we're making, you know, and so it's pretty hard as far as like getting it across to those people. And initially I felt like, hey, I have a message, I have these ideas, they're always the same. They're just gonna find different ways to define themselves, you know. But when you get into like subcultures, that isn't always true, you know. It's like you get into punk rock, it's like suddenly if you have strings, you're not punk rock necessarily or whatever, you know. It's the same thing. It's like the most thing with hip hop where it's like very fucking
They're touchy. They shoot the message.
really touchy, you know. So yeah, when that started happening, I was just like, yeah, play more guitar, write better songs, you know, stop caring about it. Yeah. And then right when I freed up and stopped caring about it, me and Abilities or Max, we're like, yeah, we should make another record. So now our record's like the stuff we're working on is like, I don't know what it's like, but it's kind of like a rock record.
Okay, so it's more informed by the shit you've been...
Oh yeah, totally. It all crosses bridges, man. It feels like it's still all me just trying to find something.
That's cool. I asked Slug this too. It seems like you kind of talked about it, but it seems like bands of like a lot of the rhymestayer shit get really touchy about when they get big, when people get recognition. You know, I mean,
Well, you know, there's a couple things about that. But there's a couple things about that. First of all, when you look at like hip hop guys, you know, it's like the youth voice, you know, in a lot of ways, right? Yeah, true. And there's no real like true voice for any big thing, you know. But it's like the guys who are really identifying as an identity. The same thing with punk rock. It's like a lifestyle. Well, you know what? Nothing's a fucking lifestyle. Dying war's a lifestyle. That's a lifestyle. Here we are. This is life. You know. So it's really interesting is when somebody, same thing with punk rock. Oh, you're on MTV, sold out. Well, it's like, yeah, okay. What does that mean? So really, what people are talking about is they're saying you have betrayed my identification. And when that is true, which a lot of times it is, especially if you're successful, when that's true, what people are really saying is like, I didn't identify with the music or the thought or the feeling, you know, I identified with the movement of it, you know, which is also beautiful. You know, it's like if the movements lead into positive places, That's
like
fucking
this.
great. Yeah. So awesome. But if these 10,000 people shit on somebody ripping a fucking ill guitar solo,
Yeah, like if you went out there and just ripped the guitar solo in front of these people.
Yeah.
I mean, they love it, obviously. They think it was cool.
Maybe. I don't know.
They might think it was a gimmick. They might think, oh, that's Eyedea out there. Fucking
Yeah, or shit.
funny.
The whole thing is like, you can't even figure out what it is for people. Especially when it's young people just kind of like attaching to ideas, It's like, what's big? It's like independent hip hop is big, rap music is big, the whole thing is big. But it's like, what does that really mean? Does that mean that everybody is like putting it in an IV and taking it in and feeling the whole thing? I don't know. But also, Nazi Germany was big. You never know why people identify with something.
People do collectivize around certain ideas.
Yeah.
I mean, I was one of those kids, dude. I was watching you in fucking First Ave, 7th Street Entry. By the way, what happened to Shapeshifters? Where the fuck are they?
Oh, they're so great. And I